Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, August 31st, 2021, end of August day. This is Tuesday. Janmashtami has gone, and I'm talking of quality, safety, health, environment, and engineer's role with that. Title is Civil Field Engineering Life Quality and AnnexSL COVID-19 SHE, that is Safety, Health and Environment. Engineer's role: designs, construction, methods, contracts, organizations, communication, coordination, why be behind quality of standards, materials, works. Every day topic is same, certifications are same for me because these are my personal certifications, and I'm not boasting about certificate here. I should not do that because boasting has nothing to do with certifications. It's your commitment, it's my obligation, it's my morale, what I think of this world, and ultimately what I have to do in life. Life is very important for everybody, and it should be taken care of by everybody, for everybody. You can take your care yourself, and there should be no obstruction on way when you take your own care. In addition to that, one can take care of others also. Others means all who come in your contact, your circle, starting from your family and then to your neighborhood and all others. It's not difficult. If you care for them, think of them. Just thinking is enough. Quality, safety, health, environment, these are everyday talk, everyday this happens. It should be. Just for safety issue, I refer to yesterday's news which I read on internet regarding one school in America. It is about COVID-19 issue, a very small issue. One teacher, 88 years old, was teaching students. It was starting day after COVID, reopened you can say, and this teacher was very serious about masks. Students didn't prefer wear masks. He requested, he asked them, instructed them, wear mask, wear mask. Some students wore it, but nose was not covered. That teacher asked him many times, do it, I don't want to be infected. But students did not listen. And that teacher quit it. Said, okay, I'm retired, I'm going. Of course, he is 88. But question is not age. Question is of discipline. Question is of compliance. Mask is very significant article, very significant requirement as far as precautionary measures to be taken for prevention from COVID-19, which is very, very serious issue these days. I am sure all news are not pouring in. If you want to see some facts, you have to go through internet and check what's happening all over the world. Television channels do not give any concrete news, and every country is trying to conceal all such news so that people should not know about facts. That is different issue. Point is that COVID-19 has not gone. In fact, it has come yet. It has not fully come yet. You can say Delta, Alpha and whatever else are very powerful, and Delta is top. It has impacted more than 100 countries, I think around 150 countries or maybe more, because no factual news coming in. So we cannot simply concrete, we cannot give concrete answer on that. Fact remains that one has to protect itself, and because there is no guarantee by vaccines also. About 15% nurses in USA did not accept to have inoculation. They are nurses, they are medical people, they know what is disease, what is problem, what is precautionary handling. But because according to them there is no surety of this vaccine, there is no complete knowledge available to let them know about how these vaccines work. And therefore they are not interested. This is not my statement, I am just quoting some news. Similarly, they say nobody knows what will happen, for how long they are effective. Means they are not effective for whole life. Maybe for a couple of months, maybe for say a year or 9 months or 10 months. It's also reported that within a couple of months, say 3 or 4 months, immunity levels or effects of these vaccines decreased to 40%, 60%, like that. This means this is something in abeyance we are banking upon. Vaccines are very good for if intended purpose is served, but so far there is no guarantee at all. Boosting injections are required. Russia, America, Israel, all are saying boosting injections are required. July month, Russia lost about 50,000 people, and everywhere it's happening. It is also a news that in America by end of this year there will be 1,000 more deaths. Means something is somewhere, something is working somewhere, but it's not working as it was working before. Couple of months when it was heavy second wave, so-called second wave. Though I don't believe in these waves, I believe in this is continuous activity ongoing. COVID's activity has been ongoing continuously and there is no question of waves. But okay, for purpose of reference, if they say, okay, fine, it's first wave, second wave, third wave, waves are okay. And there is no reliability for vaccinations to African countries or many countries. I mean to say, world over, this fractioning of COVID impact is also very dangerous. Yesterday, 43,000 infections were reported on India News. I mean to say on government official portal. Before that, 45 or 47,000. Before that, 46,000. Means somewhere it is concentrated in our country, say in Kerala or in some other parts, it's concentrated well. This means it will go to other states also. But we people in our country, Bharat, India, are very open. We are not at all serious. We don't take any care until our heads are broken or we are in water depth which has crossed our nose. We are so lenient people, and I'm not blaming our people alone. Many societies around the world do act in similar way. Somewhere people accept precautionary measures, some people oppose. There's no meaning in opposing wearing masks. There is no meaning in opposing wearing something for eye protection. There should be no opposition to that. But because of lack of information, lack of, you can say, COVID related education, this has been happening. I don't blame people, I blame governments all over the world because they are not interested in educating people. They are only interested in business. They are only interested in economy. They are only interested in claiming that they have vaccinated this much. What does it mean? You have vaccinated this much doesn't mean that you have done your job. First of all, this vaccination is only preventive measure, and that is not guaranteed prevention. That is only by chance. If it happens, happens. If it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Those who are vaccinated, COVID can come to them again. There is no guarantee on any certification that it won't come. It's only if your immunity levels are higher, maybe it comes to you, but it doesn't deteriorate your health. If it comes to you, maybe you are not hospitalized. But question should not be of hospitalization or of death. Question should be infection. Infection Once you have, means it is your guest forever. Maybe you isolate and then come out with negative, but that negative is symbolic. That negative is symbolic because that positive has not gone. Yes, it is reduced to some extent where we can say it's negative. We have to be very careful. Do not act like politicians act. Do not act like business people act. I request all people of world. It is better in their own interest, in everybody's interest, in family's interest. Have some precautionary measure. It would work well. It's very simple, nothing more. I'm not going to explain everything. For those who are in cold countries, they can take hot water drinking, no problem. They can wear masks. For them, even temperature doesn't matter if it is good temperature. So wearing mask is first point, glasses on eyes second point. Then you can say walking to heat up your body is also a point if you can do. Hot water drinking is also a reliability. Lack of, don't use AC is better in hot countries. I'm telling, for example, Gulf countries, many parts in Middle East countries. Our Bharat, now weather is down, but yet temperature is up 37, 38. So people can't tolerate more than 35 degrees comfortably, and they solve it by using or operating AC, air conditioning units. It's better to avoid. You can use ceiling fan or pedestal fan. These are better for that purpose. First of all, fan's speed of air is higher. Even if some aerosol is available in your room, it will throw it somewhere else or it will settle down by ceiling fan. So when you enter your room, it's better to use your fan for 5 to 10 minutes so that particle, if available, goes down, or even if it's not available, your fan shall recirculate air if ventilators are open or windows are open. So these are only precautionary measures, and we in Bharat, India are very good in weather. Sun is there, it helps us. Sun is everywhere, but in our country it helps a lot. We can use sun rays, we can use ultraviolet rays. That index is higher these days. So I think better is precautionary measures. If we resort to precautionary measures, we can do a lot. That's only purpose of this talk in SHE, because if you are safe, you are healthy, and if you are healthy, you can constitute an environment for working or for enjoying your family home. This is safety, health and environment issue which is very, very serious these days. People are not very much serious about this, but people may not be serious, but COVID is serious. Don't forget, COVID has been working seriously, and how long shall it work? It's unknown. Only nature knows or God knows. Therefore, it's better not to act like kids, as kids, maybe kids have some problem. They don't have enough capacity to respire, to breathe, and they feel something. But problem of breathing can be solved by treatment, but COVID cannot be solved. Till now there is no solution for COVID as far as medical treatment is concerned. There is no treatment that can say COVID would go away, you will get rid of COVID. They are misusing term of treatment or recovery. There is no recovery from COVID. It's all fake statements. All fake statements. No recoveries. Nobody can recover from COVID. Yes, you can reduce its strength, its impact, but it shall remain in your body. So don't worry about that. What happens, happens. You take precautionary measures so that you are affected, you are least affected. Take care of your people. Quality is an issue all over the world, particularly nowadays, because had there been quality, had there been understanding of bad or good, there would have been no pollution around. There would have been no pollution, plastic pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, air pollution. There would have not been that pollution, but it exists. This means we were never serious and we shall never be serious because we want to use nature for our comforts, which only leads to, you can say, deterioration of available agencies like air, like sea water or water body, like soil, like whatever you can say, where we used to have fresh energies before. Now we are not using fresh energy, but those agencies are putrefied to maximum extent. We have to understand this point. If we can't have good energies, these agencies supply pure energies, but we have done work against them. We have removed trees, we have used petroleum products, we have used plastics, we have used all those which can lead to pollution. You can see plastic is biggest disease all over world. It's not only in our country, everywhere. You go and visit country, whatever country, will find that plastic is a big problem. And you think they didn't know? Everybody knew it, but because of economic upliftment, because of development, they thought no problem. Economy is more heavier than life. According to some countries, you may die no problem, but economy should go on. It's another problem. Political problem, I can say it's not everybody's problem. Yes, petrol we have burnt and we know what result is. No need of telling. We use development, we use different kinds of cement. Cement also is responsible for greenhouse gases because it releases carbon dioxide. 1 kilogram of cement is approximately responsible for releasing 1 kilogram, say approximately, carbon dioxide into air. If this cement which leads to adding carbon dioxide to air, it can be replaced by something other material, some other material like we say supplementary cementing materials, which are fuel ash, you can say polarized fuel ash, a granulated glass slag, or you can say GGBS, blast furnace slag, that comes from blast furnace, or microsilica or silica fumes. These are all technical materials. These can replace cement, OPC to some extent, and if we replace 70% or 75% cement by GGBS, or we can replace 25 to 30% by pulverized ash, we can reduce carbon dioxide to that extent. In this case, GGBS is best opportunity, best alternative, because on major projects up to 70% I have witnessed, sometimes up to even 80% has been recommended, that you can replace this by SCM, supplementary cementing material, that is one GGBS. This can make your environment little better because it will reduce quantity of carbon dioxide, and it's though not cement, it adds to cement. When it comes in contact with cement reaction, it acts like cementing material on its own stand-alone standard. It doesn't act as cementing material. Keep in mind, before, you can centuries prior to, used to lime inclusion in construction materials, lime mortar, or then you can say lime in stone masonry, lime in mortar, lime elsewhere. Lime was pozzolanic material. Pozzolanic material is better than cementing material, because that is calcium carbonate, and different chemical terms can be allowed to that one. It's okay, we understand that. My concentration should not be on lime or cement. I'm just giving you references only. How can we make environment better, and how can we make our lives better? Quality and safety are both related. We cannot isolate either. Quality is very important factor for everybody. First we have to keep ourselves qualitative. Work comes later. If as an individual I am not a quality person, then I should not say anything. Quality means, first of all, one should be disciplined, one should be, you can say, active, proactive, one should seek knowledge, one should be able to work hard. Whatever you learn, apply that. and try to use materials for nature good, for good nature. Nature means universe. We do not have any material till now which we produced. Everything, every material, every component, raw component, we get from earth, from nature, from lithosphere. Water we get from earth, air we get from earth, everything we get from earth. And that earth is very important for our survival if we can understand that point. Earth is for us. We have to respect that. And if we don't respect that, we do a mistake. We have to respect that. It's our job, it's our duty, and if we don't do that, certainly we shall have to see problems, because it is earth that enriches earth. My purpose is that one should understand we are doing nothing. In fact, human is nothing. Every human is a body and soul combination. We have nothing of our own, and even this body in which everybody lives is not our own. It is given to us. It was given to us since the beginning of our lives, and we shall use this body till we live, we travel on this planet. When this body is not mine, blood is not mine, soul is mine. Soul cannot be distracted, this is understood. We have to take safety in our lives. Whatever work we do, payable work or non-payable work, irrespective of that, we have to do keeping ourselves safe, keeping involved people safe, keeping everybody safe. If we don't do that, certainly we shall suffer. This point must be understood. I was talking last time about safe works. This is on the same page, chapter 32, and this is certain terms used, then introduction, then personal protective equipment, and after that I can say, let us say, like blow it up. Then safety orientation courses and site access, safety health and environment officer, supervisors and HSC officers, language, permits to work, risk assessments, method statements, pre-job discussion, working at heights, up to method statement, I think the man riding basket, safety harness, scaffolding, ladders, fire protection, fire protection, I think it's gone, hot work, general, welding, use of gas and oxygen equipment, compressed air, abrasive wheels, cartridge operated fixing tools and equipment, mechanical plant and equipment, machinery guarding, noise, mobile cranes, lifting equipment, reporting of accidents, incidents, work in confined areas, spaces, electricity, excavation and openings, control of substances hazardous to health, radiography, housekeeping and removal of material, employer-owned plant, equipment and energy sources, transport, access, first aid, welfare, general restrictions, site notices, environment registers, and then you can say these are general, then we can say registers and authorizations. Now we gone through this many points and we have glossary of terms, then we can say responsibility general. We have covered some points in this, and the PPEs etc. we did. I don't want to repeat. Permit to work is very important point, and also you can say risk assessments, method statements I had done, just brief on that. Then you can say, of course, let us say method statement, we can know it should be further. Working at heights, when riding basket, safety harness, scaffolding, ladders. So let us say that no problem if you go through some repetition, it doesn't make a difference. Let's say that it is risk assessments we can start with, I think. Okay, baskets we had done, then risk assessments, if you say, that is EPC contractor shall produce risk assessments for all works under control. Risk assessment form shall provide client written information on following points. That is, to identification of all hazards applicable to significant risk activities, details of measures in place to control risk, justifications that existing control measures are adequate, and if not, detailed action plan about how to control risks. Quantitative risk assessment QRA. Now, method statements here. EPC contractor personnel shall submit method statements. Yes, contractor has to submit method statements for every activity, every work. Where clients manager, safety manager, leader or site construction manager considers risk from whatever activity to be significant, method is required. Work method statements are required in which safety is included. So we can say what job is to be undertaken, that is indicated on method statement. Individual activities required completing that job, then trades or disciplines involved in each activity, what plants, what equipment, what tools shall be used in each activity. These are referred, means we will not write everything, but references would write, and substances, chemicals to be used, and during which activity to be used, together with a cost assessment. Supervisors, responsibility supervisors, then who is in charge, can say a detailed description of about how work shall be conducted, shall be carried out, including control measures and documents to complete each activity and overall job safety. Now, pre-job discussion. Though there are so many other points in job description or method statement can be written, it depends on each activity and what is value of that writing for purpose of method statement, what information we have to provide to our personnel on site so that they can take care of safety and technicalities both. And that is what it depends. Sometimes for very, very nominal activities which they repeat every day, they know that, but for a specific activity, method statement is very important. And for normal activities which are repetitive, which are reiterated, standard method statements can be prepared, and this can be referred to in that. Standard means which can be applied if a statement exists, for example, blinding concrete, or for example, backfill. We can say or whatever else, shuttering, or steel fixing, or curing. We may say we can write some method, and those methods can be called standard methods or normal methods, which can be repeated for general work activities. Those can be used every time. Then pre-job discussion. EPC contractor shall ensure that its supervision in direct charge of a job, fully briefs and instructs with personnel carrying out job following issues prior to job commencing. What is nature of job? We have to understand that. What are associated hazards with that? That is job hazard analysis or assessment. Then safe working methods to be adopted. Requirements of permit to work. These are EPC contractors also ensure that its employees are aware of requirements contained in these instructions. So these in fact very in one line. Nature of job, that is main point. What nature of job it is, that can be known from activity. Then what are associated hazards with that, means every experienced person should know what can happen doing something. what problems we can see on site, what dangers we can see to our people or by our machines. That's called associated hazards, electrical hazard, mechanical hazard, human hazard. Likewise, then safe working methods to be adopted to prevent people from impact of hazards. What way we should work, what is best method we should adopt, which is best, which is time saving, which is you can say safety covering and all that. And also keeping in view weather conditions we have to respond to. Requirements of permit to work, whether you need work permit, it depends on location of your work. If your regulations of that operating authority requires that you should get this permit, we have to get this permit. No way out. Working at heights. Working at height is very dangerous, is very difficult if we leave it to people alone, to our employees or our staff alone. It won't work. Working at height, contractor personnel shall not interfere with access arrangements, that is scaffolding, ladder, etc. Whatever is required shall have to be done. No way out, because it is question of life and death. No interference by anybody. Whatever is required shall be done. EPC contractor personnel shall not interfere with access arrangements, that is scaffolding, ladder, etc. I have talked a lot about scaffolding in many last talks. If you wish, you can refer to that, or if you do not want to do that, you can search on Google, search on internet, and you can find information about scaffolding, etc. Where EPC contractor provides its own means of access, such arrangements shall be in accordance, in mandatory accordance, you can say, where you say contractor provides its own means of access, such arrangements shall be in accordance with all legal requirements and relevant standards. Particularly for heights, scaffolding is very important item, as I said. Ladders are very important, and riser tread composed steps are also very important. Scaffolding is a standard one, we all know. It should be completely force free. It should be connected to building if it's too high, and there should be no problem in accessing that. There should be railing around building, railing with guard board, toe board, footboard, also that's completely safe. Ladders, how should be used, what height should be used. It should be cased one or non-cased one. It should be having 3 points contact minimum, whatever is required. All that we have to take into our considerations while doing this. That's why it says, where EPC contractor provides its own means of access, such arrangements shall be in accordance with all legal requirements and relevant site standards. Scaffolding shall only be erected or dismantled by suitably trained, qualified and competent scaffolders. These people who are well experienced on scaffolding, who can understand this material first of all. It's not that directly only activity of erection is concerned, means they should understand that there should be no cracks in pipes, there should be no old, very old pipes, you can say, which has already been used 50 to 100 times. It should not be there. There should be no rust on that. It should be clearly seen, and no crack should be visible. Connections between, just like we say cup lock system, it should be freely erectable, and there should be every component available, and we can just put something below those supports if required. And also we have to keep in mind that shuttering work is very important, and supports may go away if not properly strong or adequate. All those points must be considered when you erect or you dismantle. Both cases are important, and every person who we call them experienced scaffolders should be used. Everybody cannot be used, and if you want to use someone, you have to train them first. Only then they can be used, engaged for this work. This is called competency of that, means one should be knowledgeable about, first of all, material of scaffolding or the system, how does it work, and you can say how it is connected, how to ensure bracing of that or no required of bracing, what safety engineer says, safety officer says. All these points must be taken into consideration. That person should have good knowledge. That's equivalent to qualification of scaffold. It doesn't mean engineering qualification. And then, of course, engineering qualification is required for safety managers, safety leaders, safety officers. So only competent scaffolders who have got adequate training levels, that they can be relied upon, that they can understand at least how to carry out that work which results in openings being, there may be some openings, work which results in openings being created where persons can fall into those openings, and that has to be taken care of. And also through or removal of side walling or barriers, then where persons can fall from shall be effectively protected to prevent injury, and have to have a detailed method, statement, work permit and designated supervisor. Means if there is an opening, we have to take care of that, and we have to take care of every item that can cause injury to workers. Means where there be barriers or something which you have to provide, we must provide, and we have to remove depending on site conditions. We can say where persons can fall from heights and effective protection is required to prevent injury, and we must have a detailed method statement, work permit and designated supervisor to control those activities. Materials, equipment or plant shall be properly secured. Material, equipment and plant, or equipment, plant, material or plant or equipment are different. So equipment or plant shall be properly secured to prevent them from falling from height. But there is a danger of falling material, effective preventive steps, that is installation of solid barriers and warning notices shall be provided to prevent access, warn people about expected hazard or possible hazard. They should know that can happen, and or some arrangement must be made that it should not happen. Reference should be made to these instructions covering scaffolding, man riding baskets, safety harnesses, etc., where appropriate, depending on requirement. When I say reference should be made to these instructions covering scaffolding, man riding basket, safety harness, etc., where appropriate, safety harnesses, lifelines and fall arresters shall be used. We have explained all this. What is safety harness, what is lifeline, what is fall arresters, already explained in past videos, where staging, scaffolding or other safe means of access is not practicable. Man riding basket is very important equipment. It's like a crane. When carries of personnel by crane is required. Carries of personnel by crane is required. Person or worker riding basket, you can say, if not man riding basket, though man riding basket is usual term. But if man only work, otherwise employee riding basket or personal riding basket shall be suitably tested and must have a current test certificate being clearly displayed on this machine, man riding only. All wires, ropes and other attached lifting equipment shall also have an updated test certificate. All cranes used for carrying personnel shall be provided with dead man's handle facility. Dead man's handle facility to ensure that brake is applied when control lever is released. Crane hooks shall be fitted with safety catches or equivalent, and operators shall be seated in its cab all time. At no time, no means crane hooks shall be, it says that when control lever is released, crane hooks shall be fitted with safety hatches. Crane hooks shall be fitted with safety hatches, safety catches are equivalent, and operators shall be seated in cab all time, won't leave. At no time shall crane be allowed and used in a free fall situation. Crane shall have power lowering capabilities for carrying persons. Limit devices shall be fitted to cranes to ensure that carrier cannot be raised above over highest limit of crane. Limit devices shall be fitted to cranes to ensure that carrier cannot be raised above over highest limit of crane. Limit switch shall be tested daily before raising persons in basket. All employees using when riding basket shall be secured inside basket by a safety harness. Safety harness shall be secured to master link of supporting sling or to hook of crane. Men riding baskets may only be used when an appropriate work permit has been issued by authorized person and has been approved by EPC contractor, supervisor or supervising management. Safety harness if required. Where it is not practicable to provide a standard working platform, where it's not practicable to provide a standard working platform and working height exceeds 2 meter, full safety harness shall be worn. Height limit is 2 meter, but I consider 1.5 meter better. Full safety harness shall be worn. When working on open steel or erecting or dismantling cantilever or hanging scaffolding, a securely attached safety harness and where required an inertia reel shall be worn. Safety harness shall be approved to BS or ANSI EU standards, be properly maintained and regularly inspected at monthly intervals. A record of such inspection shall be kept by contractor. Where safety lifelines are not adequate, an inertia reel shall be supplied. Where safety lifelines are not adequate, an inertia reel shall be supplied by EPC contractor. An independent examiner, in addition to normal monthly checks, an independent examiner, in addition to normal monthly checks, shall carry out 6 monthly examination and certification of inertia reels. Color coding on inertia reels shall be done per lifting equipment requirement. Scaffolding. All scaffolding to be used by EPC contractor personnel must be manufactured to British standards and to be erected in compliance with BS 5973 1993 Code of Practice for access and working scaffolds and special scaffold structures in steel. Scaffolding shall not be disturbed or altered by any unauthorized persons. Where alterations are required, authorized scaffolders shall carry out work under competent supervision. Where materials are to be positioned on scaffolding, client must ensure that scaffolding has been designed to carry load of adequate strength and is not overloaded. Scaffolds shall be inspected at weekly intervals by authorized scaffold inspector who would sign and date scaffold tag. After each inspection, scaffolding not considered safe would have scaffold tag withdrawn and a prominent "Do not use" sign displayed. A scaffolder register shall be kept by authorized scaffold inspector. These shall contain, I am talking of register, scaffold register, this shall contain date of first and subsequent weekly inspections, Individual identifications of all scaffolds, which be cross-referenced to scaffold tag identity number. Clear name and signature of authorized scaffold inspector against each separate scaffold inspected. No scaffold may be erected which impedes normal access or can be accidentally struck by moving plant or crane without prior consultation with EPC contractor, management organization, so that a safe system of work can be agreed. Repeat. No scaffold may be erected which impedes normal access or can be accidentally struck by moving plant or cranes without prior consultation with EPC contractor, management organization, so that a safe system of work can be agreed. If there exists a doubt about security of anchorage, suspension points or ties for a scaffold, that is, strength of existing buildings, structures, or those under construction, client must ensure safety, sustainability of erection. All scaffolds shall be provided with suitable access, and where ladders are used for this purpose these shall be adequate length. These shall be of adequate length. I mean to say, ladders shall be of adequate length and properly secured by either lashing or fixing to prevent displacement. Action be taken to warn personnel against using partly erected or dismantled scaffolds. Action shall be taken to warn personnel against using partly erected or dismantled scaffolds. A prominent "Do not use" sign shall be clearly displayed. An approved standard for scaffolding shall be issued to scaffolding contractors separately. Rolling scaffolds shall not be constructed with a height greater than 3 times minimum base. Rolling scaffold shall not be constructed with a height greater than 3 times minimum base width and only be used on paved or prepared surface. Hydraulic platforms shall only be worked by approved trained operators. Ladders. Rolling scaffold, one point it has come here, that's very important one in fact. Let us try to understand. It could be something useful. What is that? You can say, let me just go on to see if we can do that. Rolling scaffold. I'm just trying to I was just giving a presentation of rolling scaffold. It's very important to understand what actually that is and This is what I say. You can see on this. It's just a website showing. This is customers who viewed this also. Okay, this kind of rolling where rolls are there. This is not fixed one. This can be transported from one place to another one, and this is what is called rolling scaffold. Various types are there. I'm just trying to refer to you so that you understand what I mean to say about this. What is that? How it is used? You can see this, and I think it's not completely given here. Yes, it is there. So I just show you what it is. It's nothing to do with our work. So it is, this is a kind of rolling stuff. I just try to refer to you so that no confusion should exist. There are wheels there, the width and no the height side that. You don't use that one with this, so it's okay, fine. This is the most important part, piece that I can say. This is rollers here, like that, I close it. It says rolling scaffolds shall not be constructed with a height greater than 3 times minimum base width and only be used on paved or prepared surfaces, because you cannot use rollers on rough surfaces or on soil. You should have, actually this is used for maintenance purpose, not for construction purpose. Hydraulic platforms shall only be worked by approved trained operators. No ladders. Only properly manufactured ladders to British standards or equivalent shall be used on site. Only properly manufactured ladders to British standards or equivalent shall be used on site. Site assembled ladders of nailed timbers shall not be permitted. Site assembled ladders of nailed timber shall not be permitted. Only standards one can be used. Only properly manufactured ladders to British standards or equivalent shall be used on site. Can be aluminium ladder, can be steel ladder, but no timber ladder with nailed construction or nailed joints. Ladders shall be in good condition and free from defects, that is broken rungs, split slits, tiles, so you cannot use them anyway. However, timber ladders are not generally used on sites. Ladders shall not be painted to hide defect. No paint. Ladders shall be securely fastened to a top or footed at bottom where fastening is not practicable. Be properly positioned at base. Extend at least 1 meter, or you can say 5 rungs above working platform. Be at an angle of 300 mm out for every 1.2 meters. 1 in 4. 1 horizontal, 4 vertical. 1 in 4 for rise. Be at angle of 300 mm. 1 feet out for every 1.2 meters. 4 feet vertical drop. Ladders shall be inspected and color coded per lifting equipment, and a record of inspection retained by contractor. Fire protection, which is very significant one. Fire protection. Contractors shall ensure that adequate fire precautions are taken. Contractors shall ensure that adequate fire precautions are taken whilst carrying out their activities. Adequate fire precautions are, what are those? You have to check that into. Adequate fire precautions are provision of correct type of fire extinguisher, position of correct type of fire, provision of means which one you have to use, or you can say requirement of. Provision of correct type of fire extinguisher, normally dry powder. Ability to contract employees to use fire extinguishers. It has to be made sure that every employee, or at least those who are responsible, they should understand how to use fire extinguishers. It's better that everybody on site should know about fire extinguisher use. It's not simply that fire extinguisher is available, but they should know how to use it in emergency when fire breaks out. EPC contractor shall ensure that employees are aware of correct procedure to be followed in event of a fire alarm evacuation situation. A contractor employee shall be made aware of and location of where necessary, be trained in correct use of. EPC contractor employee shall be made aware of location of and where necessary, trained to use of fire extinguishing equipment, how to use them, alarm call points, when there's alarm call points, emergency telephones, escape routes and fire exits, assembly points, equipment stopping on alarm. These are 5 6 points. One is fire extinguisher equipment location, how to use, alarm call points, and emergency telephones. Alarm means where you can call, by chance you want to do that, where is that point available, you can use it so that alarm is raised. Emergency telephones, numbers actually, it's not equipment. And escape routes and fire exits, assembly points, and equipment stopping on alarm. On alarm, which equipment is stopped, that must be clear. Can say contractors shall ensure that employees participate fully on client's evacuation drill exercise. Certain exercises are conducted in every site on a company and offices, and all employees must participate fully on client's evacuation drill exercise. It's practical training. What should be done if such fire breaks out? Contractor offices, cabins shall have at least one powder type fire extinguisher located at access exit door. One type is a must. EPC contractor offices, cabins shall have at least one powder type fire extinguisher located at access or exit door. No point within any office, cabin shall be more than 20 meter from a fire extinguisher. 20 meter is good distance, it should be less actually, howsoever, no problem. No point within any office, cabin shall be more than 20 meter away from a fire extinguisher. Engine driven plant brought onto site shall have one dry powder extinguisher mounted on it. Engine driven plant equipment, engine driven plant brought onto site shall have one dry powder extinguisher mounted on it. Hot work. Now, it will give me few minutes. I'll come back. I'll just go to terrace and come back because it's also very important. Just a few minutes, please. By that time, you can read this. Hot work. Sorry, gentlemen, little late, but I am back. Hot work. Hot work. I was talking about fire extinguishers. Now it's about hot work, which is general. Hot work is defined as burning, welding, grinding. Burning. Hot work is defined such as burning, welding, grinding, etc. These are three different activities. However, within live plant area, which is working area, you can say live plant area or plant facility area, an activity which could generate a spark, whatever activity that can generate a spark is considered a hot work. Spark generation is considered a hot work. Adequate amount of dry powder extinguisher, adequate amount of dry power fire extinguisher, dry powder fire extinguisher shall be located within close proximity to hot work areas. An adequate amount of dry powder fire extinguishers shall be located within close proximity to hot work areas. In areas of high fire risk, a dedicated trained fire watcher shall be positioned at work site or risk area. All slag and sparks shall be contained within immediate work area. Temporary fabrication shelters shall be flame retardant material. One is all slag and sparks shall be contained within immediate work area, and temporary fabrication shelters shall be of flame retardant material. Welding and burning on certain materials may give rise to hazardous fumes. In certain areas, local exhaust ventilation shall be used as agreed between contractor and client. In other more open areas, respiratory protective equipment shall be worn. Welding of galvanized fittings is to be avoided, but when required, respiratory protection shall be worn. Hot work shall not normally be carried out in office or accommodation areas. Hot work in areas ready for startup, a client work permit is required. So this is very important statement here for hot work areas. We should take care of this. Let me take some water. So I say hot work, I repeat, it's very important for everybody to understand. It's that hot work is defined as burning, welding, grinding, etc. etc. However, within live plant areas, whatever activity you do which can generate a spark is considered hot work. An adequate amount of dry powder fire extinguishers shall be located within close proximity to hot work areas. In areas of high fire risk, a dedicated trained fire watcher shall be positioned at work site or risk area. In areas of high fire risk, a dedicated trained fire watcher shall be positioned at work site or risk area. All slag and sparks shall be contained within immediate work area. Temporary fabrication shelters shall be of flame retardant material. Welding and burning on certain materials may give rise to hazardous fumes. In certain areas, local exhaust ventilation shall be used as agreed between EPC contractor and client. In other more open areas, respiratory protective equipment shall be worn. Welding of galvanized fitting is to be avoided, but if it is required, respiratory protection shall be worn. Hard work shall not normally be carried out in office or accommodation areas. For hard work in areas ready for startup, a client work permit is required. Welding is one of activity we are talking here, so hard work. Hazards during welding. Hazards during welding activities shall be identified and adequate precautions be resorted to prior to starting actual work. Depending on method of welding and surrounding circumstances of work location, all required safety precautions in accordance to client's safety procedures or instructions be adhered to. Construction leader superintendent shall ensure that all equipment used in welding activities are fit or suitable for intended purpose, safe for use at site and free from defects. Periodical inspection shall be conducted by engineer supervisors to ensure safe and proper use of all equipment. Required service and maintenance are carried out timely to ensure safe operations, no defects in operation, no deficiency in operation, no problems in operation. That's called safe operation. Fire retardant overalls and other required PPE or personal protective equipment shall be used by persons involved in welding and related tasks. Safety officer or supervisors shall be overseeing all activities, making sure that all safety procedures are implemented through inspections and on-spot corrective instructions delivered if required. Use of gas and oxygen equipment. Where EPC contractor brings their own equipment onto project, such equipment shall comply with approved standards. Cylinders shall comply with BS or equivalent standards, be in good condition and not suffering from corrosion, be properly color coded, that is black for oxygen, maroon acetylene, red LPG, blue argon, etc. Versus black for oxygen, maroon, that's acetylene, red LPG, blue argon, etc. Be individually identified. Be accompanied by a valid test certificate. Be accompanied by a valid test certificate. Hoses shall be properly color coded. This was for cylinder color. Now hoses, there's a difference. Cylinder color and hose is a difference. What I'm saying is cylinder of black cylinder for oxygen, maroon acetylene, red LPG, blue argon. Again, BMRB. Black oxygen cylinder, maroon acetylene cylinder, red LPG cylinder, blue argon cylinder. These are cylinders. Hoses shall be properly color coded to internationally recognized standard for gas being used. Be in good condition and fitted with hose connectors attached by permanent clips. Check valves and flash back arresters shall be used on both hoses all times. That is, check valves and flashbacks. Check valves and flashback arresters shall be used on both hoses all times. Equipment used by EPC contractors shall be properly maintained. Suspected leaks may be confirmed by a soap solution. If leak cannot be cured, equipment shall be withdrawn from use. Users shall check equipment for perished, damaged hoses, regulators and pressure gauges, etc. Defects shall be reported to supervisors. Gas cylinders shall not be left lying around. Arrangements should be made to store cylinders in an open, mesh fenced compound. Before constructing a temporary gas compound or using an existing gas storage area, EPC contractors shall obtain permission from client. EPC contractors shall provide suitable facilities to minimize manual handling of cylinders. EPC contractor shall provide suitable facilities to minimize manual handling of cylinders. Cylinders shall be borne on trolleys or tied off when on site. Oxygen and fuel gas cylinders shall be kept separate with a minimum separation distance of 5 meters. Cylinders shall never be stored or used in a horizontal position but shall be secured in an upright position. Empty cylinders shall also be separated from full cylinders. All gas cylinders shall be handled with care and they shall not be either misused or abused. They shall be properly shut off when not in use and safety caps be fitted when being moved. Great care shall be taken to ensure that gas equipment, including hoses, is not allowed to cause obstruction of roadways, walkways, manholes, ladders, or other means of access, where they can cause hazards or be damaged. Hoses not in use should be coiled up and put in a safe place. Hoses should, whenever possible, be supported off ground. Where a operation involves use of gas and oxygen equipment in enclosed or semi-enclosed spaces, EPC contractor supervision shall carry out frequent checks to ensure that these procedures are complied with. During meal breaks and stopping times, hoses and equipment shall be removed from confined spaces, that is, during meal breaks and stopping times. Hoses and equipment shall be removed from confined spaces. Oxygen or gas cylinders shall not be taken into confined spaces. Oxygen or gas cylinders shall not be taken into confined spaces for either use or storage. No modification to tanks or drums which have contained flammable liquid shall be undertaken at site. Torch shall only be lit using a lighter designed for this purpose. Torch shall only be lit using a lighter designed for this purpose. Hoses shall be routed to avoid trip hazards or damage. Compressed air. All air receivers and compressors shall be in good condition and properly maintained, because compressed air is used by compressors as well as other receivers, and these shall all be in good condition and properly maintained. Air receivers shall be individually identified and marked with their safe working pressure. All air receivers shall be fitted with a properly set pressure. All air receivers shall be fitted with properly set pressure relief valve. All compressed air fittings shall be wired and or restrained to prevent them from whipping should a coupling be broken. All compressed air fittings shall be wired and or restrained to prevent them from wiping should coupling be broken. Only those clamps designed for compressed air service shall be used. Worm drive or jubilee, you can say worm drive or jubilee clips are not acceptable. Compressed air shall never be used for cleaning clothes. Abrasive wheels. Abrasive wheels. Abrasive wheels. Contractors shall ensure that their employees authorized to change abrasive wheels shall be competent to do so. EPC contractor employees authorized to change wheels shall be in possession at all times on site of a certificate detailing their appointment in writing. Details of each employee trained shall be entered in abrasive wheels register on site. EPC contractor shall produce certificates and registers on request. Machines used to drive abrasive wheels shall be in good condition, properly guarded, and have operating speed clearly marked on them. Pedestal or bench mounted grinders. Pedestals or bench mounted grinders shall have emergency stop button and be fitted with a properly adjusted tool rest. All handheld grinders shall have a dead man switch. Cartridge operated fixing tools. If EPC contractor has to bring a cartridge operated fixing tools to site, it shall be according to BS 4078 or equivalent and ensure safe working procedures according to manufacturer's instructions in line to manufacturer's instructions. Only trained and competent persons shall be entrusted to work with cartridges operated fixing tools. Supervisors shall be authorizing competent persons and ensure safe operation throughout task. All cartridges shall be stored under lock and key when not in use and ensure that no unauthorized persons have an access to either of tools and cartridges. Required persons involved and affected by operation of such tools would use personal protective equipment. All hazards related to operation of cartridge operated tools shall be accessed and adequate precautionary measures be implemented for safe operation, which must be explained to all persons involved during toolbox talk. Tools and equipment. All EPC contractor tools and equipment shall be suitable and adequate for intended purpose. Guards and electrical trip switches shall work effectively and not be removed by or bypassed. Guards and electrical trip switches shall work effectively and not be removed by or bypassed. All tools shall be maintained in a safe working condition. EPC contractor shall provide suitable storage with suitable racks and bins for storing tools and equipment. EPC contractor shall nominate or employ services of a competent qualified electrician to inspect and tag electrical power hand tools, transformers, distribution boards, extension cables, etc. on an at least quarterly basis. Tag shall display name, signature of individual inspecting tool, date of inspection, and be ticked to indicate that tool is safe for use. EPC contractor shall keep on site a register of all electrical power hand tools in use. Register shall detail individual identity number of tool, name, signature of qualified electrician carrying out inspection, date of inspection, remarks on condition of tool and whether repaired or withdrawn from use. No electrical powered hand tool shall be used. No electrical powered hand tool shall be used other than it is tagged with a current safe for use tag. All electrical leads shall be connected to power source. All electrical leads shall be connected to power source through standard industrial waterproofed plugs and sockets which be in good condition. Mechanical plant and equipment. Mechanical plant and equipment includes but is not limited to earth moving plant, road making plant and equipment, concrete batching plant and mixers, forklift trucks, miscellaneous plant including generators and compressors, powered access equipment namely star lift, cherry picker, etc., pile driving equipment and many more. Again, mechanical plant. Mechanical plant and equipment includes but is not limited to earth moving plant, road making plant and equipment, concrete batching plant and mixers, also concrete pumps, also mobile cranes, tower cranes, forklift trucks, miscellaneous plant including generators and compressors, powered access equipment, as I said, star lift, cherry picker, etc., pile driving equipment, or whatever else can be included. Maintenance. All items of mechanical plant transported to project shall be in safe and sound condition and be properly maintained. A program of regular preventive maintenance shall be established by EPC contractor per manufacturer's handbook to ensure that all plant equipment are systematically inspected, maintained and repaired as necessary. Preventive maintenance program and EPC contractors, employees responsible for actions shall be clearly detailed. A safe system of work shall exist during all maintenance and repair operations to ensure that no part of machinery is set in motion while work is being carried out. Where refueling is required, facilities provided shall be adequately covered by fire extinguishers, earthing, warning signs, bunding and proper fuel dispensers. All waste oil shall be collected and recycled or safely disposed of in accordance with existing regulations pertinent environment. All waste oils shall be collected and recycled or safely disposed of in accordance with existing regulations. Competency. All drivers and operators of mobile plant, mechanically propelled vehicles, shall be in possession of appropriate license for class of vehicle. All drivers, operators and banks persons or banksmen of mobile plant mechanically propelled vehicles shall be trained. Names and license details of all proposed drivers and operators of mobile plant mechanically propelled vehicles along with class of vehicle to be operated shall be readily available with concerned section supervisor at site if required to be examined by client. General. Every dangerous part of machinery shall be securely guarded. Every dangerous part of machinery shall be securely guarded. Guards removed for maintenance or repair purposes shall be replaced before machine is set in motion. No mobile plant mechanically propelled vehicles shall carry passengers unless a proper fixed seat is provided for that purpose and approved. Mobile plant mechanically propelled vehicles shall be parked on firm level ground. When unattended, engine stopped, brakes on and some load or attachment lowered to ground. No mechanical plant or equipment shall be sited on or operated on some area of project if objected by client. No mechanical plant or equipment shall be sited on or operated on some area of project if objected by client. All drivers, operators of mobile plant mechanically propelled vehicles shall strictly obey instructions of site security, traffic regulations and speed limits. A banksperson or bankman shall be in attendance during all hazardous reversing movements. Flame arresters. All mobile plant for use in live plant areas during startup and commissioning phase of project shall be diesel driven and fitted with exhaust flame arresters. Machinery guarding. Unauthorized personnel shall not operate, interfere or tamper with EPC contractor plant or equipment. Persons authorized to use machines shall first check that guards are in position and that all other safety devices, namely emergency stops, are in working order. All plant or equipment brought onto client's premises, all plant or equipment brought into client's premises shall be properly guarded to prevent injury. No guard or fence may be removed from machinery. Noise. Ear protection zones shall be clearly identified. Ear protection zones shall be clearly identified. EPC contractor shall ensure that their employees are provided with and use suitable approved hearing protection when working in these zones. EPC contractors shall ensure that noise levels produced are as low as is reasonably possible. EPC contractors shall advise client if they anticipate excessive noise levels from their operations so that all reasonable practicable precautions can be taken to protect persons who may be affected. Where noise levels from operations exceed 85 decibels, all employees involved in operations shall be supplied with suitable approved hearing protection. Mobile cranes. All cranes shall carry relevant test certificates and thorough examination. All cranes shall carry relevant test certificates and thorough examination. Reports together with manufacturer's handbook. This document shall be submitted to client for inspection before shipment to site. Only persons who are competent and authorized by EPC contractor shall be allowed to operate cranes. EPC contractors shall be able to prove to satisfaction of client competence of their employees to operate such equipment prior to its use. Crane operators on other competent persons Crane operators or other competent persons shall carry out daily inspections and enter these on crane register. A maintenance program in accordance with manufacturer's specifications is in schedule for all EPC contractor cranes and equipment. Travel routes for cranes and crane standing shall be agreed with a responsible person of client in order to avoid damages to such existing services, items as overhead lines and other structures, underground services, excavations made upground, etc. Again, travel routes for cranes and crane standing shall be agreed with a responsible person of client, but in order to avoid damages to such existing services, items as overhead lines, electrical lines, and other structures, underground services, excavations, made up ground, etc. Crane capacity chart, load radius table shall be displayed on or should be available on crane for easy reference. All cranes shall be fitted with a safe load indicator, a reverse warning audible alarm, audible alarm, crane hooks with safety catches. All shall be serviceable. Rigging and de-rigging of crane components, including fly jibs. Rigging and de-rigging of crane components, including fly jibs, shall only be done under supervision of a competent lifting supervisor and in compliance to manufacturer's specifications. A lifting supervisor shall be appointed to oversee all lifting operations. Lifting supervisor must ensure that adequate ground bearing capacity is available for lifting operations before setting locating stations of cranes. Rigging and de-rigging of cranes component, including fly jibs, shall only be done under supervision of a competent lifting supervisor and in compliance to manufacturer's specifications. A lifting supervisor shall be appointed to oversee all lifting operations. Lifting supervisor must ensure that adequate ground bearing capacity is available for a lifting operations before setting locating stations of cranes. Lifting equipment. Hold on please. 1 minute. Let me unlock my door, come back. Okay, lifting equipment. All lifting equipment used by EPC contractors shall be tested and examined by valid certificate. Okay, fine. So I think it is lifting operations. No, it is lifting equipment. Okay. Oh. All lifting equipment, all all lifting equipment used by EPC contractor shall be tested and examined for a valid certificate. Equipment shall be properly marked with an identification number giving safe working load and be color coded by EPC contractor to client's specifications. Copies of all test and examination certificates shall be available on EPC contractor premises for inspection by client's representative or visiting authority. A register of all lifting equipment used by EPC contractors shall be maintained. EPC contractor shall nominate a competent employee. EPC contractor shall nominate a competent person charged with ensuring lifting equipment properly inspected and register maintained. Nominated employee shall receive all lifting gear on its arrival on site and ensure its proper storage in a rigging store and shall ensure a valid certificate accompanies each item of lifting gear. Ensure a valid certificate accompanies each item of lifting gear and keep all such certificates for examination by client. Enter details of all lifting equipment received on site into a register. Enters details of all lifting equipment received on site into a register which must have details of lifting gear identification number and safe working load. Register all issues of lifting gear. Webbing, so nylon slings shall be issued. Webbing or nylon slings shall be issued for one job only and must be returned on completion of that job. Defective lifting equipment shall be withdrawn immediately from service and returned to nominated employee. No item of lifting gear shall be used to support a load greater than safe working load of lifting gear. Lifting equipment and other lifting appliances belonging to EPC contractor shall only be used by EPC contractor personnel. Reporting of accident incidents. EPC contractor shall ensure that their employees report all injuries immediately to client. EPC contractor personnel shall comply fully with reporting of accidents and incidents procedures. Details of all incidents shall be given to client and EPC contractors. Safety officers should conduct an investigation and notify client of its findings. Client shall, where applicable, inform authorities. Work in confined spaces. Or it's not, and we says that EPC contractor personnel shall be required to work in confined spaces. Should work of this nature become necessary, separate safety procedure shall be produced. Electricity. Electricity shall be provided for EPC contractor in accordance with terms and conditions of contract. EPC contractor shall not interfere with or work on any of client's electrical installation. EPC contractor shall not interfere with or work on any of client's electrical installations. All necessary precautions to avoid accidental contact with live conductors, etc. All equipment shall be treated as live unless isolated. All equipment shall be treated as live unless isolated, logged off or tagged. Repair or installation of electrical equipment shall only be carried out by a competent, qualified electrician. Tool, plant, or equipment exceeding 110 volts, 55 volt to earth, shall be double insulated, connected to an earth leakage circuit breaker ELCB, and only used by authorized person. Cable management organization to avoid tripping hazards shall be implemented. Excavation and openings. All excavations and openings shall be shored or battered to a safe angle of repose depending on material and ground conditions. All edges shall be protected, barriers be erected to ensure personnel and vehicles do not inadvertently encroach to edge of excavation. Says all excavations and openings shall be shored or battered to a safe angle of repose dependent on material and ground conditions. All edges shall be protected, barriers be erected to ensure personnel and vehicles not falling inadvertently or encroach to edge of excavation. Ladders shall be placed in all excavations to allow safe access and egress. Warning signs and tape shall be placed to identify all excavations. Spoil shall be stored a distance of at least 1 meter from edge of excavation. Control of substances hazardous to health, that is cost. Control of substances hazardous to health. Control of substances hazardous to health, COSHH. Hazardous substances include flammable liquid or substance likely to give rise to toxic, corrosive, irritant, or harmful risk. No hazardous substance shall be brought onto site without approval of client's site safety leader or manager. A copy of material safety data sheet for substance shall be handed to client prior to substance arriving at work site. Substances shall be kept to a minimum, be securely locked or fenced off, have appropriate warning notices affixed to storage facility, have no smoking notices affixed to storage facility where flammable substances are stored, have firefighting extinguishers appropriate to substance, and other emergency equipment including spill equipment located nearby containment area, have firefighting extinguishers appropriate to substance, and other emergency equipment including spill equipment located nearby containment area. Substances shall be held in secure appropriate containers with substance clearly identified on exterior of container. All containers holding hazardous substances shall have their lids replaced as soon as they are not in use. Only minimum quantities required should be removed from appropriate store at one time. EPC contractors shall complete a cost assessment. As we just discussed cost, we studied here cost, you remember? It's very important one. That is control of substances hazardous to health. So it is control of substances hazardous to health. APC contractors shall complete a control of substances hazardous to health assessment, ensure that users of substances are properly informed, instructed, and trained in hazards and control measures to be used. EPC contractors shall ensure that relevant training records are made. Empty containers shall be removed as soon as possible and arrangements made for their safe disposal. Hazardous substances shall not be discharged onto ground or into water drains where they can cause pollution or an explosion. All hazardous substances to be disposed of shall be kept separate from normal waste and disposed of as approved by client. All containers storing hazardous substances shall bear international hazard symbols. Products containing PCB, that is polychlorinated biphenyls. Products containing polychlorinated biphenyls, PCB, polychlorinated biphenyls, and asbestos shall not be used. Polychlorinated biphenyls. Radiography. Should some radiography work become necessary? UK Construction Code of Practice shall be followed. All personnel, including visitors, shall be informed of hazards and procedures for safe handling of all hazardous materials which they may encounter on their work. All personnel, including visitors, shall be informed of hazards and procedures for safe handling of all hazards which they may encounter on their work. Adequate arrangement shall be made on site for receipt and storage of radioactive sources. Adequate arrangement shall be made on site for receipt and storage of radioactive sources. Complete details of radioactive sources shall be made available at site and at the parties affected. Required warnings and safety requirements shall be implemented. Whatever warnings are there and whatever safety requirements are there shall be implemented in accordance with safety requirements of radiography procedures. Very important. Exclusive zones of operations shall be established and identified during operations with due precautions to protect persons and materials affected. Housekeeping and removal of material. EPC contractor shall keep their work areas tidy and not allow rubbish or scrap to accumulate. If a storage area is required, an approach shall be made to client so that a request can be considered, and where appropriate, an area could be allocated for this purpose. That is, area for rubbish or scrap to accumulate. EPC contractors shall keep their work areas tidy and not allow rubbish or scrap to accumulate. If a storage area is required, an approach shall be made to client so that a request can be considered, and where appropriate, an area could be allocated for this purpose. All waste shall be disposed of as agreed by client. Hazardous waste shall be properly contained, identified and segregated from other waste. Combustible rubbish shall be disposed of at end of each shift or more regularly if necessary. A dedicated housekeeping crew shall be allocated to keeping work areas clean and tidy. Client plant equipment and energy sources. EPC contractor shall not use or operate plant, equipment or energy sources belonging to client unless an authorized person has given permission in writing so to do. If authorization is given to connect tools or equipment to client's energy sources, contractors shall ensure that they employ competent workmen or persons who are familiar with appropriate functioning of plant or equipment. Transport. Only those vehicles necessary for construction operations shall be permitted to enter construction site. Only those vehicles necessary for construction operations shall be permitted to enter construction site. All vehicles shall be roadworthy. That's an important point. And conform to legal requirements. All vehicles shall be roadworthy and conform to legal requirements. All vehicles shall be well maintained. Exhaust emissions shall be clean with no visible black smoke. EPC contractor shall ensure that only licensed and authorized personnel are allowed to drive vehicles. Loads shall be within safe limit specified for vehicle, and as far as reasonably practicable, should not project beyond vehicle body to avoid hazard to other vehicles, pedestrians or adjacent structures. Load shall be within safe limit specified for vehicle, and as far as is reasonably practicable, should not project beyond vehicle body to avoid hazard to other vehicles, pedestrians or adjacent structures. Passengers shall not be carried unless a proper seat is provided. Personnel shall not be permitted to get on and off vehicle. Personnel shall not be permitted to get on and off vehicle whilst it is in motion. General use vehicles shall not be parked. General use vehicles shall not be parked in such a manner as to block access or emergency points. All drivers of vehicles shall be in possession. All drivers of vehicles shall be in a possession of appropriate valid license for class of vehicle. Vehicles driven locally outside project complex shall only use roads designated by client to avoid damaging local environment and comply with regulations. Vehicles servicing project shall, where reasonably practicable, be restricted to driving on public highways during daylight hours. Access. EPC contractor vehicles and cranes shall only use recognized safe roads and access points to work areas. Only authorized routes shall be used to and from work sites. No road shall be closed off without approval from client and issue of a road closure permit. First aid facilities. A qualified first aid person shall be engaged on site all times during work activities, shall be identified to all contract personnel, welfare of employees. Compliance with industrial practice. EPC contractors shall comply with all measures required to provide for health, safety and welfare of its employees. Toilet facility. Toilet facility, showers and wash hand basins. Sanitary conveniences should be provided in minimum ratio of 1 per 25 for first 100 and 1 for 35 for another 100. Washing facilities should be provided in minimum ratio of 1 per 35. Proper and sufficient light and ventilation, air conditioning shall be provided. Proper and sufficient lights and ventilation, air conditioning shall be provided. All toilets and other sanitary facilities shall be kept clean and in working order. You can say sanitary conveniences should be provided in minimum ratio of 1 per 25 for first 100 and 1 per 35 above 100. Washing facilities should be provided in minimum ratio of 1 per 35. Proper and sufficient lights and ventilation, air conditioning shall be provided. All toilets and other sanitary facilities shall be kept clean and in working order. Floors, walls and ceilings of sanitary conveniences shall be of such a finish that can be easily cleaned. All sanitary conveniences and washrooms shall have window openings to outside air or be provided with ventilation systems which changes air at least 6 times per hour. Proportion of window surface shall not be less than 10% of floor area. Closest lavatories. Closets, lavatories, urinals, sinks and showers shall be made from materials which facilitates clearing. Showers and lavatories shall be provided with an adequate supply of water. Floor of shower shall have adequate drainage, have non-slip surfaces and be made of material to prevent fungus infections of feet. Floor of shower shall have adequate drainage, have non-slip surfaces and be made of material to prevent fungus infection of feet. Hot and cold water to all wash basins and showers be provided. Liquid soap in dispensing containers. Liquid soap in dispensing containers shall be supplied to all community sanitary conveniences. All waste, including floor washing water, must be connected to a sewage disposal drain or a fully enclosed holding tank. Water and sunshades. EPC contractors shall ensure that a supply of cold potable water for drinking together with shaded rest areas are provided for their employees. Water and sunshades says. EPC contractors shall ensure the supply of cold potable water for drinking together with shaded rest areas are provided for its employees. General restrictions. Intoxicating liquor and drugs. Intoxicating liquor or drugs. No employee shall be permitted to enter site under influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs. Possession or consumption of drugs other than for medicinal purposes or whatever alcoholic liquor on site is strictly prohibited. Possession or consumption of drugs other than for medical purposes or whatever alcoholic liquor on site is strictly prohibited. Conduct. EPC contractor shall ensure that all persons under its control shall conduct themselves in a safe, orderly and seemly manner on project and not indulge in hooliganism or horseplay. Contractor shall ensure that all persons under its control shall conduct themselves in a safe, orderly and seemly manner on project and not indulge in hooliganism or horseplay. EPC contractor shall take such steps as should be practical to make their employees aware of local community requirements, social aspects and respect of local culture. Site notices. EPC contractor shall comply with all official notices on site issued by client and obtain their permission before erecting certain notices or direction signs. Environment. Contractor shall comply with environmental requirements within project safety plan. Registers. Following registers shall be recorded on site: inspection of lifting gear, inspection and test of cranes and other lifting machines, inspection of electrical power hand tools. Authorization. Following persons shall require authorization from EPC contractor, site organization management during their work. Drivers, operators of mobile cranes, driver operators of mobile plant, mechanically propelled vehicle, banks persons for mobile cranes. drivers, operators of mobile cranes, drivers, operators of mobile plant, mechanically propelled vehicles, banks, persons for mobile crane or banksmen for mobile cranes, person authorized to change abrasive wheels, drivers of cars, lorries, vans, pickups, fire watchers, first abiders. Well, I think we are gone. Working procedures, which is of course not very descriptive, but we have studied all this in past videos, just as a refresher of this, and we have gone through. In this case, again I am telling, this is introduction, personal protective equipment, safety operations courses and site access, safety officer, supervisors and safety officers language, PTW, risk assessments, method statements, pre-job discussion, working at heights, men riding baskets, safety harnesses, scaffolding, ladders, fire protection, hot work, welding, use of gas and oxygen equipment, compressed air, abrasive wheels, cartridge operated fixing tools, tools and equipment, mechanical plant and equipment, machinery guarding, noise, mobile cranes, lifting equipment, reporting of accidents, incidents, work in confined space, electricity, excavations and openings, control of substances, hazardous to health, radiography, housekeeping and removal of material, employer owned plant, equipment and energy sources, transport, access, first aid, welfare, general restrictions, site notices, environment registers. These are terms, some terms, and of course means general. These are, we discussed in this, we discuss about introduction, then we discuss about personal protective equipment, eye protection, hearing protection, respiratory protection, safety footwear, gloves, safety harness, overalls, other PPEs, HSC orientation courses and site access, and health safety environment officer, say, permit to work, risk assessments, method statements, pre-job description, working at heights, man riding baskets, safety harness and scaffolding, ladders, hot work, fire protection, hot work, welding, use of gas and oxygen equipment, compressed air, abrasive wheels, cartridge operated fixing tools, tools and equipment, mechanical plant and equipment, machinery guarding, noise, mobile cranes, lifting equipment, reporting of accidental incidents, work in confined spaces, electricity, excavations, openings, control of substance hazardous to health, radiography, housekeeping and removal of material, client, plant, equipment, energy sources, transport, access, EPC contractor, first aid facility, welfare of employees, general restrictions, site notices, environment registers, authorizations, likewise. This was, and you can say, we have to go to, I think, plants. Oh no, Inspections and audits. Inspections and audits. Inspections and audits. It's very interesting. Inspections and audits means whatever work we do on site, inspections are very important from every point of view. Audits are also very important from every point of view, and this is also required in our safety, or you can say according to systems. According to systems, you can say HSC inspections and audits, and we can say in this we have scope, then we have purpose, definitions, responsibilities in general, respecting certain contract positions and instructions, and then various teams activities likewise, and then we have to see different lists here. We will go through that, subcontext areas, more of this is different type of talk. Various bases are given in this. You can see forms are also available. Then management audits, what we should or should not do, and you can say leadership, organization, and administration. We'll go through, because this is technical, this appears very technical. We'll go through one by one and see how to do it. I will search on web also the statements, and then so it's like that. We'll go there in this. For the HS inspections audit, I like to say something on this also. This print here, print lines, where is it? Come on, it's not, so I think it's not giving anything. It's failed, like it's failed. It's not working here. So it's wrong. It will take like this. So I just taken care for you people that we have downloaded something which is important one in this case. It's it's something like that. It is NHS public reference, NHS reference, and this is inspection here. This is SHE. Here this one, it is NHS reference. We'll go through this also and see what it works for. General information from world. It's also possible to be discussed because we cannot just information that have maybe not that updated. So it's also possible that we go through this for getting more information. It's better. And of course, this is gallium. You can say it's like this. Well, this is all here. We have something is better than nothing. In fact, it's like this. We should get more information, possibly, and we should be very safe works. I think I should close this. It's over. So, inspections and audit. But first, let me see what's purpose of this. It applies to all construction site operations and activities being carried out by contractor and their subcontractors on project. Applies to all construction site operations and activities being carried out by contractor and their subcontractors on project. Purpose of this procedure is to outline various arrangements to be followed for inspecting and auditing SHE conditions on site and at subcontractors' premises where project work is being carried out. This procedure has been based on practical case studies from brownfield projects involving onshore construction engineering. It can be considered as a sample to understand procedures involved. Attachment tabulations have been included at end for indicative information purpose only and not as reference. Now I'll go to this document. It's my first document, and that is NHS. This is NHS partnership. NHS, I'm just giving reference. Safety, health, environment, health and safety audit and workplace inspection procedures. Now this is a partnership, you can say all given partnership. NHS trust working activities are subject to risk assessment as part of organization safety management system. From risk assessment come workplace precautions and risk control systems that be involved in following 4 key areas. They are all concerned with work activities. Premises, what is premises? Including place of work, entrances and exits, general working environment, welfare facilities, and all plant and facilities that are part of fixed structures, such as permanent electrical installations, plant and substances, including all machinery, equipment, tools, chemicals, raw materials, components, products, etc., and arrangements for their handling, transport, storage, and use. It's including all machinery, plant and substances, very important part, including all machinery, equipment, tools, chemicals, raw materials, components. You can say components, products, etc., and arrangements for their handling, transport, storage, and use. Procedures including design of jobs and work procedures and all aspects of way work is done. People including selection and placement, their competence for job, training and supervision. These 4 key areas, what are these 4 key areas? One is premises, plants and substances, procedures and people. These 4 key areas encompass all issues that is safety organization management system needs a control over. Under Management Organization of Safety and Health at Work Regulations 1999, employers are required to carry out risk assessments and make arrangements for managing health and safety, which involves control, monitoring and review of preventive and protective measures. These 4 key areas encompass all issues that health and safety and health management organization system requires control over. Under such SHE at work regulations, employers are required to carry out risk assessments and make arrangements for managing safety and health, which involves control, monitoring and review of preventive and protective measures. Trust requires effective systems to review safety organization performance, and such monitoring systems include workplace inspections, vehicles inspections, self-audits, and regular analysis of accident and incidents. The scope in this is, this procedure applies throughout all directorates of Devon Partnership NHS. I'm giving the reference. Sample is this, I'm not saying you copy this. This procedure applies throughout all directorates of Devon Partnership and NHS Trust. This includes all working activities and trust properties. Directors and managers throughout trusts are responsible for ensuring good health and safety, organization management, and practice within their directorates, including compliance with safety and health policy, establishing effective systems for organization management of staff, working environment, and working practices so as to ensure, so far as is reasonably practicable, safety, health, and security of all persons involved in or affected by activities of their directorate. Establishing appropriate arrangements to enable trusts to comply with statutory health and statutory safety and health requirements and to observe its own policies and procedures effectively. To allocate resources for improvement of safety and health and to comply with relevant legislation. Senior organizers are responsible for ensuring that workplace risk assessments and area SNH audits effect and that appropriate remedial action is resorted to in light of accident, hazard and safety audit reports and reports from external enforcing authorities. All organizers are responsible for safety and health and for effective day-to-day organization of health and safety compliance with trust policies and procedures and legal standards in relation to respective work. This involves establishing a regular system of risk assessment of all work activities, evaluating and reviewing assessments, developing effective safe systems of work, and ensuring that appropriate remedial actions are resorted to when required. All employees, contractors, and other personnel working for trust shall be expected to cooperate in whatever workplace inspection or SNH audit that is conducted. Arrangement for managing health and safety and health. As an organizational manager, one is responsible for ensuring risk assessments and risk control measures which should be in place for ensuring safe working activities and a safe workplace. That is a sufficient assessment of risks to safety and health of staff and other people such as visitors, contractors, and temporary staff required to be recorded. Additionally, workplace precautions that are put in place to prevent harm requires to be monitored regularly. Therefore, it's important that arrangements must be in place for organizing safety and health. One method is by way of an annual or 6-monthly systematic inspection of premises to ensure compliance with requirements of safety and health legislation such as organization management of safety and health regulations, fire regulations, first aid regulations, and safety, health, and welfare regulations, etc. Workplace inspection checklist has been developed and lists all health and safety requirements that require checking. Property organizer or manager or administrator who coordinates safety and health at each trust premises can be delegated to undertake inspection. Corrective actions can be identified and resorted to where checklist reveals that workplace precautions are not being maintained or organization management systems are not working properly. Building general, workplace floors, windows, staff facilities, environment, ventilation, temperature, lighting, fire, first aid, communication, personal protection, housekeeping. A safety and health self-audit form has been designed for senior organizers, managers, or service unit managers, organizers to take an overview of safety and health standards and ensure that safe working practices are in place. Part of audit, for example, would be to check that workplace inspections have been undertaken effectively at each property site and to ensure that identified actions have been taken. Self-audit firm has identified following various topic areas. These require checking to ensure compliance with safety and health legislation and to ensure trust policies and procedures are in place throughout area and fit for purpose. Safety management review. Safety organization review. Arrangements for safety and health to audit evidence of systems in place for risk assessments, fire precautions, safety systems of work, manual handling, first aid, personal protective equipment, housekeeping and working environment. Gosh, we just this? No. Measuring performance, workplace inspections, accident reporting, records, staff consultation, enforcement authority inspections. So one is safety management review, arrangements of health and safety to audit evidence of systems placed for risk assessment, fire precautions, safety systems of work, manual handling, first aid, personal protective equipment, housekeeping and working environment, cost, etc. Measuring performance, workplace inspections, accident reporting, records, staff consultation, enforcement authority inspections. Part of audit and inspections are to ensure that people are working safely by observing their activities. Part of audit and inspections are to ensure that people work safely by observing their activities and checking that control measures are undertaken or resorted to or in place and being used where necessary. For example, check that an authorized footstep ladder is being employed by staff to clean on top of kitchen units. Same time, you can inspect workplace as a whole for all other safety requirements. Unit organizer, manager or health and safety coordinator on site can organize results of workplace inspection locally. A copy of completed assessment must be kept on file on site with a copy sent to safety and health organizer or manager. Unit managers. Unit managers or another appropriate service manager undertake health and safety audits and provide their completed audit findings to appropriate business partner or service organizer manager. Business partner or service organizing manager shall receive a copy of such S&H audit for their areas of responsibility and with support of health and safety or safety and health organizing manager, collate results of self-audit undertaken for purpose of measuring success and improving systems where necessary for organization as a whole. Guidance on process of safety and health inspection, self-audits. Definitions. Harm, death, bodily injury and damage to physical or mental health. Harm, it is defined. Definition of harm is death, bodily injury and damage to physical or mental health. Hazard, whatever that has potential to cause harm. That's called hazard, which can cause harm. Risk, likelihood that harm from a particular hazard may occur, that is risk. Workplace precautions, control measures, measures that are put in place at point of risk to prevent harm, that is workplace precautions, control measures that are put in place to at point of risk to prevent harm. Risk control systems, organizing management actions required, making sure that appropriate workplace precautions are implemented and kept in place. So it's you can say a string of definitions. Harm you can say at end, and harm comes from hazard. Get it? Why say that destiny, negative destiny is harm, which you have to stop, you have to protect. Harm is based on hazard, which is unknown, which can cause harm, and hazard is based on risk that should be known. If we know that, precautions can be resorted to prevent risks or solve risks, and so that harm doesn't reach, and that is what is risk control. Actions required, making sure that appropriate workplace precautions are implemented and in place so that harm does not reach through hazard, hazard does not reach through risk, and risk does not work in when precautions are taken. And you can say this can be called indirect definition of, you can say, of harm hazard string. Task is to ensure that required workplace precautions are in place and are adequate enough to prevent harm from occurring to persons that may be exposed to hazards. Observe that workplace precautions or control measures are not in place. Wherever it's observed that workplace precautions are required, control measures are not working or do not work or do not have adequate enough, are not adequate enough in order to reduce risk of harm as far as possible, need or required to identify what further measures are required and make sure that these are implemented. Further control measures may include additional equipment or provision of information, instruction, supervision, and training to people at workplace. For example, observe that signing in out book is not always filled in by staff or visitors, and action required may be refresher training for reception staff to ensure they understand purpose of book in case of an emergency evacuation. Conversely, you find that control measures are not affected, and this may be due to being inappropriate. For example, trolley provided for transporting boxes of materials around office may not be used due to equipment being an appropriate size or inconvenience of it being located on a different floor to storeroom. If observed this type of non-compliance, it may be due to equipment provided being inappropriate for task or intended purpose, and should state in action box that review of equipment is required or manual handling risk assessments are reviewed. When conducting workplace safety inspection or safety and health self-audit, required to indicate what further actions are necessary and priority and what should be prioritized by use of a date when action must be taken and by whom, whose responsibility it is. Person responsible may involve community estates, line organizing managers or individual staff or person undertaking inspection. Procedure for completing workplace safety inspection checklist. Business partner, service head are responsible for ensuring a workplace inspection is undertaken or yearly for each property. It's recommended that property manager, organizer or administrator on site can undertake inspection. For some offices, periodicity of inspection may be more frequent if necessary. Additionally, some offices may already have existing safety inspection systems and may wish to continue with sense. With this, workplace inspection checklist can either be used to supplement existing systems or replace them where necessary. Where possible, safety inspection should be undertaken in conjunction with another person that can help coordinate safety and health requirements, for example, a trade union safety and health representative. In order to inspect whole site as systematically as possible, it is best to divide office premises into different sections, namely administration or reception area, offices area, storage room, kitchen, training rooms, meeting rooms, car park, and other outside areas. Whilst it is in each area of premises, whilst one is in each area of premises, run through each question in first four areas of form, that is building general, floors, environment and fire. Walk around whole property with workplace inspection checklist and check whether premises is compliant or not with each requirement. Refer to appendix. Okay, so between 0 and 3 with yes or no, only that's a valuation. Now if an area is found to be less than adequate record, remedial actions must be there. It must be resorted to. Same time, closely observe. Let me repeat that, but I think I should not be mistaken. I should not ignore it. Okay, let me take some time. Walk around whole property with workplace inspection checklist and check whether premises is compliant or not with each requirement. Refer to appendix in section 5 to help you decide what may be satisfactory or what may not be satisfactory. Soar between 0 and 3 with yes equal to 3 and no equal to 0. Part success can be scored 1 or 2. If an area is found to be less than adequate record, remedial action where necessary is a must. Same time, closely observe activities and tasks of staff members and identify. In last section of form under any other whatever hazards they may be exposed to. Additionally, ensure that equipment is being used in safe manner, correct manual handling techniques are being employed, and people sit correctly at their workstations. Once safety inspection has been completed, it is important to communicate to person responsible as identified on form what further action is needed or required and date due depending on its priority. Gain line organization management's commitment for that. Original of workplace inspection must be kept in with health or safety and health files at office. A copy should also be sent to business partner responsible for area and health and safety manager. It is important to monitor outstanding actions recorded on workplace inspection checklist at a specified period of time after inspection, namely 1 month. This is to ensure that those identified persons responsible for actions have completed actions Once action has been completed, this must be signed off and dated by line organizing manager or designated safety and health coordinator, whatever applicable. Procedure for completing a health and safety self-audit. A safety and health self-audit provides an overview of level of hazards, health safety standards. SHA self-audit provides an overview of level of safety and health standards and performances in unit or work activity. Unlike workplace inspection, it's not expected that a full audit is undertaken at each property site activity. Perhaps a selection of work activity and property sites that business partner know shall give them a good understanding of range of safety and health systems and standards in place and can provide areas for improvement. This provides a snapshot of compliance within network area. A directorate area could be split into geographical sections, and a local area audit program could target each section of area per year within 3 years period. Safety and health self-audit form provides a range of questions to assess the level of safety and health awareness amongst staff in identified work locations and to assess their level of compliance with safety and health systems at a property site. A fundamental element of audit is to assess whether risk assessments and safe systems of work are in place and effective. Audit template can be used as an aid to ask staff relevant questions whether safety organization management systems are in place. Organizing manager undertaking audit should also take some time to observe working, conduct and processes to identify whether safe practices are being adopted. Organizing manager should have a look at completed inspections, logs and records held at each property and check level of adequacy. Organizing manager should look at risk assessments contained for work areas and safe systems of work. Note differences or variances in area between record keeping practices and risk assessment activities. Note whatever areas for improvement, and make a particular note of whatever areas that require priority action. Make comments on form of actions required to ensure compliance and consistency in standards, along with person responsible and due date. Once audit schedule has been completed and staff interviews and property visits have been made, an average score can be provided on overall audit form. This can be between 0 and 3 for each question on audit list. A negative answer, no compliance, will score 0, and a total successful compliance scores 3. A part success requires some improvement, maybe 1 or 2, depending on amount of success. This be a subjective assessment of safety performance and SNH standards based on range of SNH systems that have been observed. Note that while where score is 0 or 1, the information on present position and future requirements must be written in comment box or in an additional report. Please provide comments that might relate to improvement of traffic law. Once audit is completed, a copy of report may require sending to appropriate business partner for their information and action and required action. File a copy in your safety and health area safety files. Findings should be discussed at organization management meeting and our health safety and health committee meeting. Accordingly, an action plan requires developing to ensure required actions are completed within a certain time frame. A completed safety and health audit form requires to be sent to safety and health organization manager following audit. This is required for corporate monitoring purposes and to identify emerging risks and concerns. Additionally, this information is required for annual safety and health report to Trust Board. Further information and advice. Safety and health manager, organizing manager shall provide further information and advice regarding workplace inspections and self-audit process. Monitoring and review of audit and inspection procedure. Safety and Health Committee undertake monitoring and review of workplace inspection and health, safety and health self-audit procedures. Glossary of terms: fire prevention and emergency preparedness requirements. Refer to Devon Partnership NHS Trust file. Okay, fire policy and first aid provisions. First aid box should be of suitable material and so designed to protect contents. Box should be clearly marked with a white cross on a green background in compliance with safety and health safety signs and signals. Regulations 1996. Sufficient quantities of each item should always be available in every first aid box container. In most cases, these shall be guidance card 1 number, 20 number, individually rapid sterile adhesive dressings, assorted sizes, 2 number sterile eye pads with attachment, 6 number triangular bandages, 6 number safety pins, 6 number medium size sterile unmedicated dressings, 10 cm by 8 cm, large size sterile unmedicated dressings, 13 cm by 8 cm, extra large size sterile unmedicated dressings, 28 cm by 17.5 cm, pair 1 number pair of protective gloves. So first item to all items are first is 122666231. Now refer to first aid policy for further details. Floors and traffic routes. Traffic route means a route for pedestrian traffic, vehicles or both, and includes stairs, fixed ladder, doorway, gateway, loading bay or ramp. There should be sufficient traffic routes of sufficient width and headroom to allow people and vehicles to circulate safely with ease, thus preventing collision, slips and trips. Lighting. Suitable and sufficient lighting shall be provided wherever a person uses work equipment, taking into account operations to be carried out. So far as is reasonably practicable, lighting shall be natural one. However, all efforts should be made to reduce glare on computers and other display screen equipment. If necessary, local lighting can be provided at individual workstations. Suitable and sufficient emergency lighting should be provided in whatever room in circumstances in which persons at work are specially exposed to danger in event of failure of artificial lighting. Rest areas. Suitable and sufficient readily accessible rest facilities should be provided. These should include suitable facilities to eat meals. Additionally, suitable rest facilities should be provided for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Ideally, these should be near to sanitary facilities and where necessary include facility to lie down. Smoking. Health Act stipulates a ban of smoking in all enclosed public places. Includes workplaces and other places of work such as vehicles used for work purposes. Appropriate smoke-free signage must be displayed in accordance with smoke-free at work policy. In accordance with trust policy, trust is committed to being smoke-free for patients and staff, and smoking is not permitted on trust property. Storage of clothing. Adequate, suitable and secure space should be provided for staff to store their own clothing and whatever special clothing required to undertake work. Storage facilities. Storage areas should have been defined within workplace. Requirements should be reviewed periodically and whenever refurbishment or relocation effects, articles and substances shall be stored in defined areas at all times. Temperature. Though no upper temperature limit is specified, indoor working temperature should be reasonable for comfort of persons employed, with exceptions made where there is impractical because of hot or cold process, in which employees should only work for short periods, that is no less than 16 degrees Celsius for sedentary, namely office work, with a recommendation of 13 degrees Celsius minimum for workplaces requiring strenuous hours. Ventilation. Effective and suitable measures should be taken to ensure that enclosed workplaces are adequately ventilated and stale air or air that is not hot or humid is replaced at reasonable rate. Ventilation includes both openable windows and mechanical systems, and legal requirements include avoidance of unpleasant smells and exhaust fumes. Where possible, where ventilation systems are installed, this must be fitted with an effective device that gives visible or audible warning failure in system. Waste collection and removal. Floors should be cleaned on a regular basis and waste bins should be emptied daily. Rubbish be kept in suitable containers and not be allowed to overflow. Combustible waste must be kept away from ignition sources. Large items of rubbish that pose a particular hazard, such as obsolete items of furniture, should be removed without delay. Washroom and toilet facilities. Suitable and sufficient sanitary conveniences and washing facilities should be provided at readily accessible places. They should be kept clean and adequately ventilated around and heat lit. Washing facilities should have running hot and cold or warm water, soap and clean towel or other means of cleaning or drying. Men and women should have separate facilities unless each facility is in a separate room with a lockable door and is for use by only one person at a time. Workspace. A minimum working space of 11 cubic meters to a height of 3 meter or around 2 meter into 2.3 meter floor space per person. However, fact that floor space may be taken up by furniture, equipment, etc. dictates that there should always be sufficient unoccupied space to allow ease of access and escape. Working space requirements include general need, ensure enough free space to allow people to get to and from workstations and to move within room with ease. Workstations and display screen equipment. For requirements on correct use and setup, display screen equipment at work, refer to. Okay, now we have gone through this page and that is 5 steps of safety. We'll see how does it say of this work, that is expert advice, and we'll see also this part, our file Dalim, both usually we have only taken up this, that is NHS we have taken up. So what I say now, we have done this. Quality, as we said, very important part, as we said before also, we are just behind this quality system, and here is this one. Now I'm going to close this video because already I think 3 hours have been over, so I can't, you can say I think it's 3 hours already over. Yes, it's already over, so I'm going to close this.